doing this. I know it's on the spot, so we appreciate it. So. Okay. It's a little before, and then we start making it live. So we're good right now. Not live.
Live from the great state of Texas, welcome to the Texas HomeSchool Convention Show. We're about to go live from the Woodlands Waterway Marriott Hotel and Convention Center in Houston, Texas. This year's Texas HomeSchool Convention is underway right now in Houston, Texas. Get ready for a candid behind-the-scenes interview with our very special guest. The show is live, so please comment during the show.
Texas HomeSchool Convention is more than a podcast show. We're a vibrant community, a gathering of people supporting one another in the incredible journey of raising the next generation of world changers.
Now, grab a seat, get comfortable, and join families throughout the United States and around the world as we dive into today's conversation. Live from Texas is the Texas HomeSchool Convention Show.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Texas HomeSchool Convention podcast show. I'm joined with Don from CrossWired Science. Don, how are you doing today?
Tired, but good.
It's a long weekend, but we're excited to be on day 2. Don, tell us a little bit about CrossWired Science and the curriculum you guys have.
We take science concepts and we cross-wire them together. So we might be talking about how a dog drinks, and we might tie it into chemistry of some sort. So we're always tying things together. When a child, K to 12, sees something and they begin thinking about other things that it's connected to, that's cross-wiring. Okay, that's what we're all about.
That's really cool. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about what's involved in the curriculum.
Okay, basically, we take wonder upon wonder upon wonder, and we tie them all together. So we're trying to always understand what the deep science is in things that we're studying. So it could be like how a cat drinks. It sounds rather basic, but when God created cats, he had to think about how they were going to drink. So what they do is they have their tongue and they bend it like this, but no one quite understood what they were doing. So the scientists had to think about it, and they have little barbs on their tongue, right? Well, the barbs are actually made of keratin, which is the same substance as your fingernail. It's the same substance as a rhino's horn, as a cat claw, as a lion's claw, as a horse hoof. So the keratin, though, is made into little like spines. And then at the bottom of their tongue, the very tip of their tongue, it's smooth. So scientists didn't know why that was. They didn't know if there's any purpose to that. But they found that when they drink, they actually bend their tongue like this and they take it down. So what do you think? They take it out of the water. So what do you think happens?
The water gets on the barbs and comes up into their mouth?
No. See how they're curling their tongue?
Yes.
So how do you think it like they drink?
Pulling it up into their mouth?
Yeah. Most people say they scoop it. Well, it turns out it's not that. It's not that. If you've ever seen water striders skating on water, like in a pond, you'll notice some little black splotches on the bottom. That's actually caused by negative interference, but they're actually skating on top of the water because water holds to itself. So you have hydrogen atoms, which are smaller than the oxygen, and the oxygen grabs the electrons more than the hydrogen grabs the electrons. So the oxygen has a negative field. Okay, so you take another water molecule right next to it, the negative of the oxygen attracts the positive of the hydrogen. That's called the hydrogen bond. That creates a film on top. It makes the molecules stick together. That's why water sticks to things. It's because of that. So what the cat's actually doing is it takes the smooth part of its tongue, and they have pressure receptors all around their tongue, and they take it down and they touch the very surface of the water without breaking it. And then what they do is the molecular attraction of the molecules of its tongue attract the molecular attraction of the water, and it pulls it up by molecular attraction. And as it pulls it up, it actually pulls it fast and then suddenly breaks it, and a water column goes into their mouth, and they drink a little water column. So it's using molecular forces in order to drink. And what's amazing is that God's made it so the different cats, like a lion's tongue, of course, will be a lot larger than a kitten's, and every cat has exactly the right retraction speed. And it's written on the DNA how fast to pull those muscles. If it wasn't written correctly, then all the cats on earth would die because they don't know how to drink any other way. But what's amazing is if you've ever gone by a water bowl of a cat or a dog, the cat's is always perfect. God made cats elegant, but a dog, on the other hand, is a slob. We call them dog slobs, and the water's everywhere. So what God did for them is they just go plowing into it, and they use some water attraction and some scooping, and it just goes all over them when they throw it up on their face. And God just made it that way for fun, I think.
Wow, that's so cool. I feel like I just learned something. I also learned why my dogs drink water the way they do. So that makes a lot more sense. But you mentioned in your curriculum that you build wonder upon wonder. Can you give me an example of what one of your favorite wonders is in the curriculum?
It could be, well, gosh, there's so many. It could be like a spider web.
Okay.
A spider web. A spider web can generate a thread. Some can generate up to 8 different types of threads. And what happens is they can be up to 5 times stronger than steel and completely stretchy. They can stretch 3 to 5 times longer than their length. But the way that they do it is amazing. They have like a little, I don't know what to call a little ball, and inside it is a chain, and the chain is stronger than steel. And then it hooks to a crystal. They didn't understand this till just a few years ago. And there's a crystal, and the crystal actually slides. And so you've got this complex thing inside of their abdomen. It's so strong that if you were to make a big pile of it and shoot bullets at it, you couldn't go through it. It's so strong, but it has to solidify first. And so God's made it to where as it's passing through the orifices, it actually changes the pH by about 0.4, and the pH instantly converts it into a strand that's stronger than steel. If it happened a moment sooner, it would solidify inside their abdomen, and they would they become like a little bullet. And so what happens if you watch a spider web, how they make it is pretty amazing too. But if you look at an orb spider web, it's always like very taut, and it can stretch out. What happens is if a dragonfly comes in and it hits it, it'll blow right through it. But God's made it so it will stretch out, and that will reduce the impact over a period of milliseconds. And that makes it so it doesn't break through it. So there's all this technology going on inside of a spider web. And what's nice about it, like just a basic thing we might teach the younger kids, is that the spokes on the spider web are not sticky. So the spider controlling all 8 legs is keeping its feet on the non-sticky parts. And the part that goes around is sticky. And you can actually touch a web and you can pull it back if you touch the part that goes around. And it's all nicely spaced and all. So the stretchiness was necessary because spiders are a key to keeping down the insect populations of Earth. And so God didn't want us to be overwhelmed with insects, and spiders are a big way that they do it. But the wonders go on and on and on. And so we have like an experiment pack, and we have biology, chem, physics, and it's all based on wonders. It's all based on what did God do, and we tie it into scripture, and we're basically trying to do 3 things. Or just say that 3 things. We're trying to always keep the top spinning. So science is never dull. We never use unnecessary vocabulary. We don't have people read things that are hard to read. It's always interesting and fascinating. And we're a hybrid program. We use hands-on. We have incredible hands-on things for both kindergarten through 8th grade and for biochem physics. We take them on hunts. They go out and examine all kinds of things about bark and flowers and flight patterns of insects and birds. And then we have videos that we've created, but we call ourselves the $100 million curriculum because we access the best on anywhere. It could be done by Harvard, or it could be done by a YouTuber, and we weave it all together to show who God is and how he loves beauty and how he wants to create beauty from ashes for us. He has the power and the intelligence to do it.
Oh, that is so
much.
Yeah, I love that. And I love what you guys are doing. So last question, how did you get into this, and what makes you passionate about what you do? Clearly, you're very passionate about this.
I was a brand new Christian. I accepted Christ when I was almost 17. I went to UCSD and I was a pre-med bio major. And as I was in my classes, I realized I was studying a technology of another realm. And I just created an incredible appetite for me for understanding what God has made, because it validated my faith. And I kept, after I got out of school, I kept researching and researching. And then this passion began to build in me to explain it to the world. And then the vice president of Apple Computers asked me to come on board and mastermind something. And I ended up working with him for a while, but then I had to shift gears. And then he came back again 30 years later and offered an incredible offer. I had to turn that one down too. But so we're wanting to take it to the world, and we're just working on the details on how to do that.
That's awesome. Well, Don, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. If you're here on site at convention, come visit CrossWired Science. They have an incredible curriculum, and you've heard it from Don himself. So thank you so much for tuning in again today. So thanks, Don.
Thank you for joining us from the Woodlands Waterway Marriott Hotel and Convention Center in Houston, Texas.
We hope you are leaving encouraged, equipped, and empowered to take on this week as an intentional parent.
Be sure to subscribe on YouTube and never miss an episode.
No matter where you are in your journey, we are here to support you. Make sure to check out our website at conventions.thsc.org. Come join our community.
This has been the Texas Homeschool Convention Show. Have a request for who you'd like to be on our show? Email us at events@thsc.org and tell us more. We always love hearing from you. We will see you next week.
Wil Addison.
Are you doing this lesson?
I'll do it next week.
Okay.